How do you replace a heat exchanger in a York package gas unit? Today, I'm going to give you a step-by-step walkthrough of how to replace this heat exchanger. If you need to know how to replace a heat exchanger for an American Standard package gas unit or a Rheem package gas unit, I've got the link for those two videos down in the description. Go check it out for a full tutorial. You're watching HVAC Tips for Technicians. I'm Tad. Let's go. First step before you take the unit apart, of course, unplug the disconnect. All right, now we're going to start taking some panels off. So to take the top cover off, which we're going to do, we need to take the wires loose that feed the outdoor fan motor. That way we can route those wires through the panel here. That way we can actually remove this top cover. So I'm going to take 2 screws loose here. Take this panel off. I'm going to take this panel loose. Because you'll be able to see the fan wires. See, there's a capacitor. Somebody's wired a capacitor right here. You can see they zip tied the wires right here. But we've got to make sure we can get these wires loose. So they come through this cabinet here. Take this out of the way. One goes right here. And then there's a ground. Oh wait, that's not a ground. Somebody just used a green wire for the other side of the power. So that's interesting. All right, fan wires are loose. This should be it. Now we need to get snips to cut these zip ties. You can use another tool if you want. All right, got those loose. Yep. Pull these wires through. Now the fan wires should be loose. Get this capacitor out of the way. All right. Man, that's a mess. We need to redo that. All right, now that we've got those 2 panels removed, wires for the fan motor, we need to take the screws out of the top. All right, there's 2 right here. Oh. Over here. Now we can take the top and lift it up. If you don't have somebody with you, no worries. Lift the side with the fan. Set it up. Oh, there's a wasp. Looks like there was a wasp nest right here. Coils are pretty dirty. This one especially, I need to come back and clean this or clean it while I'm here. All right, here's the heat exchanger. See, take a look. So to get the heat exchanger out, we've got to take a bunch of screws loose, basically from here to here and from here to here. This burner assembly has got to come out. Right? Pressure switch got to come off. Inducer motor's got to come off. So I need to get my extension. I need to get my pipe wrenches. I need to take this union loose. So I'm going to go ahead and start by taking the union loose. The gas is already shut off. Let me get my pipe wrenches. Looks like it needs to go this way. Hard to get that wrench in there. They used a really short nipple. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. So I may need to use a crescent wrench. No big deal. There we go. It's loose. All right, see that that's loose? Now I need to take this nipple off. Now remember, you may need to hold the gas valve with another wrench. Looks like we don't have to for this one because it's not turning, but you have to be careful because if the gas valve turns, there's a pilot tube and we'd end up breaking it. And we don't need that to happen. All right, get that out of the way. Probably gonna have to unwire the inducer motor. So one wire here, and then red wire there, and then black wire goes back to the board. So that's loose. Rollout switch, pressure switch wires. All these wires for the gas valve. Probably need to get some needle nose, but looks like I can wiggle it back and forth. All right, that's loose. What do we got left? Gonna have to cut these zip ties. I love how that capacitor's not strapped. That's amazing. Wow. All right, so we've got the pilot tube assembly right here. We've got our igniter wire and our flame sensor wire. So I need to cut these. Let me get something to cut them. All right. All right, all that's loose. Oh, igniter wire. All right, so all this is loose. So now we need to get an extension of 5/16 because all these are 5/16 screws. We need to take this panel off, right? Got to take this panel off too. So we can leave, we need to go ahead and disconnect this wiring. All right, let me get a flathead screwdriver, my extension, my drill. Takes about 45 minutes to do this. There's the two power wires, loose. And here's the ground wire. Loose. Oh, almost loose. Man, that's on there. All right, so we got that loose. Now, we can remove the whole burner assembly. A lot of screws. Not hard to do though. This is pretty easy, to be honest with you. One of the easier heat exchangers to replace. A lot easier than a commercial unit, that's for sure. While this is out, if you got new burners, put new burners in. If you don't, if the burners are dirty like these are, you need to get a brush. You need to brush them. Steel brush, clean the end of it off, make sure that carryover track, flame carryover track is clean. All right, that's out of the way. Next, pressure switch. That's out of the way. Oh, interesting. All right, now, this plate comes with our inducer motor. This could be known as the flue box cover. So we're just going to take the inducer motor off. And if you don't have a new gasket, which we do have a new gasket, then you may need to get some RTV silicone, some high temp silicone so you can have a good gasket. All right, now we've got these screws. No, wait. Nope, we don't take those out. We have got all of these screws. Oh, no. Sometimes your screws are so rusted, it's hard to get them out. But luckily, we're in good shape here. All right, let's go ahead and take this side panel off. Here we go. Make sure your battery's fully charged. That's for sure. All right. Side panel, will you come off? Yep. Side panel is loose. I'm going to go ahead and take it loose from this other panel. That way I have more room. See? Get it out of the way. Now, stay right there. See, is it loose? No, it's not. It's not loose. It's got something over here in the condenser section. Yeah, see? Look. Here. Okay, here. See these screws? Here, and then here, and then on down. Yeah, okay. So this one, this one, this one, and then one more. Okay. Now the heat exchanger should come out. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. Oh, almost broke something. Gotta be careful. Need to take this panel off. This panel's got, oh, one more screw. Check it out. Any more screws? Am I good? Why is it not? Okay, there we go. It's got a little gasket. All right, now, right here. See, this one and this one hold this bracket right here. See this bracket? That bracket actually comes out, and that goes in the new heat exchanger. She's out of there. Oh, I need that. Thank you. Wow. Couldn't even really see the bottom, but look at this. You know, I couldn't even really see the bottom. Look at that crack. Look at that. I mean, you can see the daylight. Look at the daylight. Yeah, it was cracked all the way down. So, and it's crazy because this unit had a 20-year heat exchanger warranty. So why would I not replace the heat exchanger? I offered the customer a price on a new unit, 10 years parts. Don't have to worry about it for 10 years, you know, on those parts. But, you know, with my labor costs being around $1,000, you know, or spending about $6, I mean, it just was a no-brainer. Everything else works great on the unit. Why not get another 4 or 5 years? So, all right, heat exchanger's out. Super easy, super simple, and oh, I just noticed something. Okay, this cover right here, I have to put this on the new heat exchanger. I got a gasket, which is great, but I gotta have that. I thought I had, yeah, so yeah, keep in mind, you may have to order this plate separately, which this plate is in good shape. But I'm just gonna move this to here, okay? All right, what do we need? We need a drill. I need to put some new insulation on this. I need to clean the coils. Whenever you replace a heat exchanger, make sure you do everything else that's needed. That way you don't have a callback. It was 48 degrees this morning. That's why I'm wearing a hoodie. And now it's up in the 70s. All right. Super simple though, you know, I mean, it's not that hard. You just got to know what you're doing. How do you know what you're doing? You do it. That's how you figure it out. Willingness comes first, skills come second, and then opportunity comes third. Get it lined up. Look at that. That is beautiful. Beautiful. And just like that, we got this heat exchanger almost buckled in, ready to go. Got the inducer motor ready to go back on. Yeah, whenever you order a heat exchanger, if you need burners, you need rollout switch, you need new limit switch, you need new inducer motor assembly, order everything you need. That way when you get the heat exchanger and you start the job, you have what you need and you're not like, oh no, I gotta order this now. You know, when I first started out, I did some stuff like that. You know, I just wasn't prepared. I didn't pay attention really. It's just all about paying attention. That's it. Well, where's my holes at? There we go. Get it lined up. There we go. Okay. Pretty easy to do though, huh? Let me know, guys, in the comments, which heat exchanger do you think is the worst to change, the hardest, and which do you think is the easiest? This has got to be one of the easiest. Got my new gasket in place. Whoa. Excuse me. Got the new inducer motor in place. Looking good. Make sure you carry screws with you if you need to install new screws. Pressure switch going in place. And it may be a good idea for me to go ahead and install the burner assembly before I put it in too. That's probably a good idea as well. Make sure you clean the flame sensor and the burners. If you don't know how to do that, I'll put a link in the description to a video so you can learn how. Installing the burner assembly with the burners and the gas valve. Took a steel brush to the burners to make sure I got them nice and clean. Oh, loosen that up a little bit. Need an extension for that last screw over there. So, as you can see, it is not that hard to replace a heat exchanger. It's just make sure you have all the right parts when you go back. Make sure that you do a good job cleaning the unit, the burners, flame sensor. That way you don't have callbacks, and then you help them with their cooling as well. Because the whole point in replacing a compressor on a unit or a heat exchanger, which is a major part, which is expensive, is trying to give more life to that equipment and helping the customer. Because the customer may have a budget, they may be on a fixed income. We got to help them. That's our job. All right, I'm going to get those last couple screws in, and then of course I've got to install a new rollout switch because the flame, I guess, was hitting this so much that it damaged the rollout switch. So I do have another rollout switch. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in, and then we'll slide this heat exchanger in. Got the new rollout switch. Taking the other one out. I'll also drop a link to the short video where I actually came out here and diagnosed this unit. Whoop. All right, we're ready to go in. Here we go. Okay, first two screws I'm going to put in are right here at the bottom. I had to poke a hole so I could see where the screw was because I've got this little adhesive seal, but now I know where the hole is. I got that screw in place, and then over here on this side, got that screw in place. There should be a couple more right here somewhere. Okay, there's one. And then look up here. Looks like there's another one somewhere. Right there. All right, I got those 4 screws in. Now I'm going to come over here. Bring this panel over. I'm going to put these 4 screws in. Once you get those screws in, these screws and the bottom screws, then we're going to put that bracket in, and then the heat exchanger will be in place. Then we can start putting everything back together. Here's our bracket. Put this in place. There we go. Goes like that. Now we only need 2 screws to tie this bracket in. There's one. That'll keep it from rattling around, making noise. All right, that's better. Now we're getting close. All we got to do is put this panel on, wire everything in, tie in our gas line, and we're almost done. Doesn't take long, as you can see. All right, installing the side panel. There's a lot of screws, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now this panel right here has to come up like so we can be able to install these screws. See, like this. Right there. Boop. Oh, that went over it. Okay, now you got to lift up the back of that panel. All right. Just like that. This panel is in. Now, this panel. All right. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. All right. Thread sealant. Pipe thread sealant. Pipe dope. Make sure you pay attention to the wires you take off. You don't know what you're doing. Use your phone, do a video, take a picture. It's all wire for wire. You know, it goes back where you took it off. If you don't know how to read schematics, I've got a video. I'll put that in the link in the description for that video so you can learn more. Oh, I should have put the pipe dope on after, but hey, I just got it all over that pipe. That is beautiful, Tad. Way to go! That's okay. I need to go over all this when I get done with some soap and some bubbles under pressure and see if any of this is leaking too, because we got a lot of rust. This has been here for a while. Oh. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Tying the union back together. Bleed the gas. All right. Tighten it up a little bit more to make sure we don't have any leakage. Use my other wrench here. Oh yeah, we got the heat exchanger in. I need to tie in the wiring, get the top back on, fire this up. I'm gonna give you some advice when you're firing up a heat exchanger, what you need to know. And then we're gonna go ahead and conclude this. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing how the heat exchanger comes out, how it goes back in. I hope you learned something so far. I'm gonna go ahead and get all this together, and then we'll watch this thing get fired up. Little piece of advice here, I'm putting everything back together. These wires that fed the condenser fan motor were strapped to this line. This copper line is a discharge line, so it gets super hot. You never want to wire tie any wires to any of the lines, the refrigeration lines, especially the discharge line. So that's the reason I've used this hole that's inside this panel. Another tip, this right here is like a sleeve. So what does it do? It goes around the wires that come from the condenser fan motor. See that? You just take this, you push it together, and then you just slide it through the hole. It holds the wires and keeps them from rubbing against the metal cabinet. See that? Much better. Disconnect back in. We got the new heat exchanger installed. Everything is tied back together, mounted that capacitor, closed up those holes. We're ready to start it up. Let's jump it out. Gave it a call for heating by taking a jumper wire from the R to the W terminal. You can see we have got a flame now. Hopefully you can see that. So we got heat, got the manometer set up, just set the low stage and the high stage gas pressure to make sure that we have good performance and longevity from the new heat exchanger. Whenever I install a heat exchanger like this in a unit, before I start it up, I go inside and I tell the homeowner that it may produce some smoke the first time when you start it up. Why? Because there's oil on the heat exchanger. The oil burns off, that produces smoke. I want them to be aware of this so they don't freak out, so they don't think that there's a fire. So I want you to know that so you can do the same thing so you don't have a situation where, well, I thought there was a fire. Well, there's not a fire, it's this. Well, why didn't you tell me? So It's better to tell them, that way they're not alarmed. If you don't know how to set gas pressure using a manometer for propane or natural gas, what your pressure should be for low stage or high stage, I've got some videos down below. I'm gonna put those down there so you know how to use a manometer and set gas pressure. If we don't set gas pressure, then not only is the system not gonna operate correctly, it's gonna fault out, but we're not gonna have our parts lasting as long as they could last. So make sure you always set the gas pressure, especially when you finish a job like this. And again, clean the coils, clean the blower wheel, clean the burners, the flame sensors. When a customer spends a lot of money on a existing unit, you want to make sure that they have as many years as possible because they may be on a fixed income. Again, they may not have the money to replace the unit, so try to work with them because we're here to help and we want to treat people like they're our family. Because when you run a business like I do, my customers are my friends. We have good relationships. That's what makes doing business good or fun, really. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you learned something. If you did learn something, let me know what it was down in the comments. You got a question? Remember, questions can lead to new content. So put your questions down below. But if you don't have a question, that's okay. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're from. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, smash that bell, ding, so you know what I'm doing. If you want more videos like this, go check out my playlist, HVAC Tips for Technicians. I've got tons of videos of live experience as a technician in the field to help you be a better technician. You've been watching HVAC Tips for Technicians. I'm Tad. This was Taddy Digest, and I'll keep you cool if you let me.